So Sam's plan is, remember, the cost is going to be equal to the $25 per month plus 7 cents per minute. So cost is equal to $25 plus 7 cents per minute. And Sidra's plan is going to be $15 per month plus 12 cents per minute. So we can write that as cost is equal to $15 plus 12 cents per minute. We can rewrite these equations, and the first one is C is equal to 25 plus 0.07 m. And the second one is C is equal to 15 plus 0.12 m. Now we have a linear system that we can solve. And what we want to do is find out what number of minutes would give them the same amount on their phone bill. And so that means that we're going to have to solve our linear system. So we're going to subtract here because our coefficients are identical. We have 1c and 1c. So when we subtract this, we get c minus c, which is going to be 0. So we're going to eliminate the c variable. And then when we subtract our equations, 25 minus 15 plus 0.07 m minus 0.12 m. And we end up with 0 is equal to 10 minus 0.05 m. So now what we're going to do is add 0.5 m to both sides, and we end up with 0.5 m is equal to 10. We're going to divide both sides, and we're dividing both sides by 0.05. When you do this on your calculator, 10 divided by 0.05 is 200. So that means that both plans will have the same cost for 200 minutes of use. And so to determine how much it's going to cost, we're going to sub in to the equation. So C is equal to 15 times, now it's going to be 12 cents for 200 minutes. So 0.12 times 200 is 24. C is equal to 15 plus 24, which is 39. So therefore, both plans have the same cost of $39 for 200 minutes of use. So example 7, George invested $1,000 in an RRSP. He invested part in a technology fund that pays 15% per year, and the remainder in bonds that pay 5% per year. So what you're going to do then is determine the linear system that could be used to find the amount he invested in each part if he earned $140 in interest for the year. And so what we're going to do is let F represent the amount invested in the technology fund, and B represent the amount invested in the bonds. So we're going to start by writing George invested $1,000. So $1,000 is equal to the amount he invested in the fund, the technology fund, plus the amount he invested in the bonds. He invested part, remember the amount he invested in the technology fund earned 15%, and the amount that he invested in the bonds paid 5%. So the 15% per year for the technology fund, well, it'd be 0.15 times the amount he invested in the technology fund. That will be the amount of interest he earned by investing in the technology fund. Okay, he also invested 5% earned 5% per year on his bond fund. So the amount of interest he earns on his bond fund is going to be 5% or 0.05 times the amount he invested in the bonds. And the total interest he earned in the year was $140. So here is our equation. And so we've set up our linear system. So now you can solve this linear system and find out how much he invested in each fund, in how much he invested in the technology fund and how much he invested in the bond fund.